Marie Osmond stepped away from social media in April 2025, but not for the reason you'd expect. The 65-year-old star had been facing brutal criticism about her appearance for over a year. Side-by-side photos from the 1970s and 2024 went viral with people calling her an imposter. She admitted to some treatments but denied major surgery. Yet experts pointed to clear changes that couldn't be explained. What happened to Marie's face has become one of Hollywood's biggest mysteries. The truth behind her transformation is more shocking than anyone imagined. Marie Osmond was born on October 13, 1959 in Haguenau. She was the eighth of 9 children and the only daughter in the family. But her birth came at a time when her parents, George and Olive, were already overwhelmed. Their first 2 sons had been born completely deaf. Doctors warned them not to have more children, but George and Olive believed God wanted them to continue. It was a huge risk. They didn't have the money to care for more disabled children. When Marie was born healthy with perfect hearing, it felt like a miracle. She and the 5 younger boys that followed all had normal hearing. Her parents saw it as a sign that they had done the right thing. But the truth was the financial weight of raising 2 deaf sons never went away. Marie's early childhood was nothing like a normal kid's. Her father had served in the army and he ran their home almost like a military base. By the time she was just 3 years old, her days were filled with strict rules and music rehearsals. Her brother would play the bugle in the morning to wake everyone up, and they had to respond like soldiers. At meals they had to say yes, sir, or thank you, sir, and if they didn't behave they were punished. There was no playing outside, no rest, no real childhood. Marie thought every family did this because all she ever knew was practice scripts and more practice. While other kids were learning to color, Marie was learning Swedish songs for tours in Europe. Everything in her world was built around performing. The family was also struggling badly with money. Around 1963, when Marie was just 5, things got so bad they had to mortgage their farm and move to Los Angeles with no savings left. Her father had lost about $25,000 on failed businesses and medical bills. That would be worth over $200,000 today. They were broke, living in their cars some nights, and Marie had to start performing to help them survive. She didn't sing because she loved it. She sang because if she didn't, they wouldn't eat. That kind of pressure on a little girl is hard to even imagine. She would later say she felt responsible for her whole family before she even knew how to read. Her first big break came in February 1964. She was just 4 years old when she appeared on The Andy Williams Show. Most people thought it was cute, but behind the scenes it was serious business. Her brothers had a 5-year deal worth around $50,000, and Marie was being tested to see if she could be added to the act. She had to work 18-hour days, memorize scripts she couldn't even read, and take school lessons between rehearsals. Producers even made comments about her weight when she was only 4. That was the beginning of her lifelong struggle with body image. It wasn't a happy childhood dream. It was a job, and Marie was being treated like a product, not a child. By 1967, she had become a regular on the show. Her whole family was now part of the act, and things started to change. They got a record deal with MGM and started touring the world. Marie, Donnie, and their younger brother Jimmy traveled in cramped spaces, sometimes sleeping in the trailer storage compartments. Marie wasn't even 10 years old, and she was already tracking ticket sales with her mom and handling money. After shows, she had adult responsibilities before most kids were allowed to cross the street alone. Then, in 1971, the Osmonds exploded in popularity. Their song One Bad Apple hit #1, and suddenly they were rich. They bought homes in Utah and California. Donnie even built a secret room in their House with electronics that made his bed move like something out of a spy movie. But not everything was happy. By 1973, the older brothers wanted to play rock music, and their new spiritual album flopped. Donnie became the star with soft songs like Puppy Love, and Marie was mostly left out of the group's success. She was just seen as the girl in a family of boys. That feeling of being pushed aside stayed with her for years. Everything changed for Marie in August 1973. She recorded her very first solo song, Paper Roses, and it was a massive hit. She had just turned 14. The song went to #1 on the country charts, #5 on the Billboard Hot 100, and #2 in the UK. Her album sold over 500,000 copies. It was a dream come true, but it came with a price. Her record label wanted her to act older than she was. They chose songs that sounded like they were for adults, not a teenage girl. Music producers pushed her into styles she didn't choose. Marie loved country music, but they made her record songs that would sell better to older fans. Even at 14, she was already being pulled away from her own voice. Then came 1974, the year everything nearly fell apart. Marie had been performing non-stop, promoting her second album, In My Little Corner of the World. Her voice started to fail. Doctors were shocked. She was only 15, but her vocal cords were showing damage normally seen in adults. After years of stress, she had to cancel shows, and the family panicked. Marie was making millions for the Osmond brand, and without her voice it all could have ended. Footage from that time shows her barely able to sing, trying not to cry on stage. It was clear she was exhausted, but the machine around her kept moving. In 1975, she released her third album, Who's Sorry Now. It was different, more pop, less country. Marie wanted to explore new styles, but her brothers didn't like it. The album didn't do as well, and her family blamed her for changing the formula. She was only 16, but she had to fight for the right to choose her own music. Her brothers and managers thought she was hurting the brand, but Marie just wanted to grow. The tension was so strong that it stayed with her for years. She later said she felt like she had to choose between loyalty to her family and being her own artist. That same year, 1975, she went on tour in Japan. It was one of the biggest moments of her career. Fans screamed and fainted like it was Beatle mania. She needed police escorts to get through the crowds, but behind the scenes Marie was falling apart. She was doing over 200 shows a year. That kind of schedule is brutal even for adults. For a teenager, it was unbearable. She was working constantly, flying between countries, recording albums, doing TV, and still trying to be a girl. Child labor laws in the entertainment world didn't really exist back then. So no one stopped to ask if she was okay. They just kept going. The money was too good. By the time she was 16, Marie Osmond had lived more life than most people twice her age.